Hello, I am Seema Chitlangia from DPS Ranchi, and today I am going to start with the chapter Electrochemistry. Just see the definition. What is electrochemistry? It deals with the relationship between electrical energy and chemical changes taking place. That means main thing is what? That how chemical energy produced in a redox reaction can be converted into electrical energy or just vice versa. That means electrical energy can be used for the redox reaction, which may be non-spontaneous in nature. And two types of arrangement are there, that is conversion of chemical energy into electrical or electrical into a redox reaction. And all these conversion involved such some arrangements are required. All such arrangements are called electrochemical cell. And this electrochemical cell is further divided into following parts. Now the principal, there are two different types of principally there are two different types of electrochemical cell, that is galvanic cell or voltaic cell, and another one is electrolytic cell. In class 11th also you have read about this electrochemical cell in redox reaction chapter, in which two different electrodes were taken in two different vessels. Clear? Left hand side is always considered as anode, where there is a loss of electron, and right hand side is always considered as cathode, where there is a gain of electron. And these two vessels were connected through a salt bridge made up of agar, on which either K2SO4 or KNO3 are adsorbed. We will go in detail much after doing some equations afterwards, but just you have to understand that galvanic cell or voltaic cell, the electrodes are in two different vessels. But in case of electrolytic cell, the reaction occurs in the same vessel, in which anode and cathode are in the same vessel. This vessel is called electrolytic vessel. This solution is electrolyte. These rods made up of the metal, they are called electrodes. The electrode which is connected through the positive terminal is your anode, and which is connected through the negative terminal is your cathode. And we have to discuss about the process of electrolysis also, but just before that you have to see the definition and classification of these two particular electrochemical cells, different types of electrochemical cells. In galvanic cell is further classified into chemical cell and concentration cell. See here, chemical cell, electrical energy produced due to chemical change occurring during the cell, but here the electrical changes is produced due to the physical changes. This is the difference between the two. This is due to the chemical changes and this is due to the physical changes. Next difference is there is no transfer of matter takes place, but it involves transfer of matter from one part of the cell to the other. We will discuss it again in detail afterwards in the form of equation and all this is. This is just the introductory part. And here you can see that when the electrolysis takes place, what do you find? The negative charge, negative ion is towards anode, and that is why they are called anion, negative charge ion, and positive charge anion is towards cathode to gain the electrons and become neutralized, and here it will lose the electron to get neutralized. So electrolysis, the two main part is primary change and secondary change. In primary change, the ions become neutralized, and further if it is required, they do the secondary change. Now come to the primary change and secondary change taking place during electrolysis. Now you have seen that the diagram of electrolysis, there were two changes. That change were primary change and secondary change. You have just see that diagram at the back, that cations and anions are there. So in primary change, the ions move towards either cathode or anode and get neutralized. That is called primary change. The product may be collected as it is, but sometimes the product formed in the primary change needs some secondary change. That will be clear from this equation. Just take the example of molten NaCl. NaCl is in liquid state, ionized to give Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. Now Na plus ion, obviously it is electron deficit now, so it will move towards cathode to get the electron. That is why it is called cation. And Cl minus already accepted the electron, so it moved towards the anode to give the electrons at the anode part, and that is why it is called anion. Now see, at cathode what happens? This Na plus accepts the electron and converted into neutral species Na. That is called primary change, and reduction has taken place. But at anode, Cl minus reaches, gives the electron, forms the atom which is very unstable. Oxidation takes place. This is also a primary change, but it is unstable. So to get stabilize, this free radical or chlorine atom combines to form a stable chlorine molecule, that is known as secondary change. And you can see the overall reaction as well. NaCl liquid, that is in molten form, after electrolysis at cathode, molten sodium metal is collected and here chlorine gas is evolved. Now next point is why we study electrochemistry. First thing is it deals with what? Electrolytic cell and electrolysis, electrolytic conduction, galvanic cell, voltaic cell. We discuss these things. Besides that, we study about batteries, in which we study about primary cell and secondary cell. Then we study fuel cell, which is used in space program. And next we study about the corrosion of metal, in which we will not deal only with the iron. Some other metals like silver and other we will discuss afterwards. But now next is quantitative aspects of electrolysis and Faraday's law. Faraday was the one in 1833. He studied about the relationship between amount of substances deposited or liberated at electrode during electrolysis and how much amount of current is passed. And these data are very important because nowadays there are so many 1 marks question. 20 questions of 1 marks is there in board exam. So you have to be very particular about the small things as well. Now he divided his laws into two parts. Faraday's first law of electrolysis and another one is second law of electrolysis. Now first come to the first law of electrolysis, in which the amount of chemical substances deposited or liberated at any of the electrode, that means that amount of substance is W, it is directly proportional to the charge, that is in coulomb. And all of you know that Q is equal to what? Current into time. So this proportionality sign is replaced by Z, that Z is known as electrochemical equivalent of the substance deposited. And if you have to suppose in exam the question is how will you define Z, then simple thing is what? That you have to equate this Z with W. How this Z becomes equals to W? When amount of current pass is 1 ampere for 1 second. At that time the electrochemical equivalent is become equals to the amount of substance deposited or liberated. Now come to the next law, that is second law of electrolysis, in which the same quantity of electricity is passed through different solution. One solution is of AgNO3, another is electrolyte is CuSO4, and both the vessels are connected in series. You may can take n number of cells also in series, not only 2, you can take 3, 4, many, but here I have taken only 2. Just you have to understand that 2 cells or more cells are connected in series. Then what will happen? The mass of the substance produced will be directly proportional to what? Equivalent weight of that particular substance. If we are talking about the silver, then amount of the substance of the silver, that is W of Ag, will be proportional to equivalent weight of Ag. In the same way, weight of copper will be directly proportional to equivalent weight of Ag. And when we take the ratio, the equation will become like this. Weight of Ag by weight of Cu is equal to equivalent weight of Ag by equivalent weight of Cu. Now come to the next point. What is Faraday? See, 1 Faraday is what? The amount of charge. That means the value of electron, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 multiplied by Avogadro's number will give you the value of Faraday's in coulomb per mole, that is 96487, but we round it off to 96500 coulomb. And one very important relation you have to remember, Z, that was electrochemical equivalent proportionality constant, is equal to equivalent of weight of the substance divided by F, that is 96500 coulomb. And what is this Z? This Z is equal to W by Q is equal to equivalent weight by 1 Faraday. So you have to do some numerical based on these formulas. Now solve one numerical based on Faraday's law of electrolysis. See, this numerical you have to try by your own also. In this numerical, a solution of copper sulfate was electrolyzed for 10 minutes and the current pass is 1.5 ampere. You have to calculate the mass of copper deposited at cathode. So what data were given? Current is given 1.5 ampere. time is 10 minutes, you will convert it into second, that will come out to be 600 seconds. And you know the formula of charge, Q is equal to IT. When you put in this, it will come out to be 1.5 into 600, that will be 900 coulomb. That means you have to calculate that 900 coulomb will deposit how much amount of copper at the electrode. So, but one more important thing, that this reaction is occurring at cathode. That means copper is gaining the electron. So the equation will be copper 2 plus will gain 2 electrons to form copper. That means 2F is required. This 2F means what? This 2F means 2 into 96500 coulombs will deposit 1 mole of Cu. That means 63.5 gram. That is given already. But you have to calculate for how much coulomb? You have to calculate for 900 coulomb. So 900 coulomb will deposit how much? 63.5 by 2 into 96500 into 900 gram of copper. Just calculate it. It will come out to be 0.2969 grams. So in exam also you have to take care that you must write the unit, otherwise your marks will be deducted. And you have to write every workable formula, because in boards for each and every step marks is there. If you will not write this equation, maybe half marks will be deducted. If you will not write this unit, again marks will be deducted. So you have to take care of all these things, and you have to solve at least 10 numericals on each topic at least. Now come to the next. Thanks for watching me, and the rest part of the chapter will be discussed in the next video. Thank you.